Well, a very good morning to you on this fantastically grey May morning. It's, what is it? Just about 20 past 8 and we're just getting ready to set off yet again on the Great York Walk, 26 of your Earth miles around the city of York in support of Mentally Fit York, which does fantastic things for mental health in the city and with students and young people especially. We have prepped a bit better this year. The weather, well, I'll cut this short. We've been summoned for the briefing, but here we go. Now, as part of this year's challenge, I set myself the responsibility of reading excerpts from Don Estelle's autobiography, Sing Lofty, Thoughts of a Gemini. Now, Don is a great actor and a lovely singer, but you can't deny that his autobiography is genuinely one of the worst books ever written.
It's sturdy stick.
We're off!
You're like, oh, tired.
It's like the Grand National, everyone set us off in like a big bunch. And then we all split up. See, the fence is broken at an angle and there's big gaps in it. I wonder if it's like a philosophical experiment of when is a fence. What is a fence? Is it one of those lots of gaps in it? Because he's not going to stop any of the cows getting out. And so for the 4th year we passed Germany back in Fulford and they've still not finished it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and this housing estate wasn't built in a decade. I'm sure it'll be lovely when it's finished. So it's time to gently ease up in the joke file for my colleague Laura, who, as is traditional, is about 4 paces ahead of me and trying to get away. We heard that. So, there's this fella driving a lorry and there's a car behind him and he looks out of his mirrors and he sees this car's flashing its lights, beeping its horn, and he ignores it. He goes on the motorway, he's driving at the motorway, car's behind him flashing its lights, beeping its horn, drivers waving frantically. This goes on mile after mile after mile. And eventually the lorry driver pulls off the motorway and goes into a service station. The car follows him in, still flashing his lights and trying to keep up with him, and eventually the car skids to a halt next to the lorry. And the lorry driver just jumps out and goes, "Look mate," he says, what is your problem? Why have you been flashing your lights and honking your horn for 20 miles? And the car driver goes, "I was trying to warn you." He says, "I'm going up the motorway, you've been shedding your load the whole way." And the lorry driver goes, "Mate, I'm fucking gritting." You gotta laugh. So here we have York Racecourse. Now, I did film this last year, but I filmed it on the wrong setting. I filmed it on time lapse. And here is where I rolled my ankle, which caused me considerable pain for most of the rest of the walk. But welcome to a part of York that, if you're a visitor to York, you probably won't see unless you're in an Airbnb or something. But this is called the South Bank of York. It's near the Knavesmire, near the Racecourse. And I think it's just one of those bits of York that's quite nice. I mean, it is nice, the houses are quite small and still incredibly expensive. We got some nice red brick Victorian villa terraces here, heavily populated, very small terraces, because this is quite also near the Terry's, or what was the Terry factory, as in chocolate oranges and whatnot. So there's a lot of workers' housing around here as well. None of this was built by the Terry family, which grew up around it. The Terrys weren't the same as you might imagine other chocolate making families to be, like the Cadburys and the Rowntrees. But yeah, it's just a bit of York that, well, if you don't live here, if you're just visiting, you may well not see. So, and see these here? See these? These are a particular kind of brick that you get in York called scoria bricks. Oh god, so many temptations. There's Fred's Home Bakery there as well. Scoria bricks, which are made out of, I think, either molten slag from the ironworks or the glassworks. But they're a particular kind of brick that you only really find in York. These octagonal shaped blocks. And they're often used for, you can see they're used for paving a road, or often these kind of back alleys have them, and they're just a lovely, quite a particular thing. So here we have our traditional friend, and we just add a little bit more of Yeah, York Minster. There's a member of one of the oldest police forces in the country, York Minster Police. And there is the new statue of Her Majesty. I do wonder how much of the original is left of York Minster, because it has so much stonework done. We'll see the stone yard in a moment. There we have York Minster. A wonderful Gothic edifice. Yeah, it's weird. Kind of live next to it all the time, you don't appreciate it as much as you probably should. Over here, we have another church with St Michael the Belfry, which, as you can see from the boards, is having quite a lot of work done to it lately to bring it into the 21st century and make it more family friendly and all that. And that's quite fun, because churches shouldn't stay still, they shouldn't always be the same, they should be a little bit different, I think. So there we go, as long as they respect the heritage. There's the bit that burned down, South Transept, about 40 years ago now. You wouldn't know, obviously, because they did a great job. Some of the old buildings in Minster Yard, it's sort of not lost its identity, but it was far more enclosed. So that's where the gates used to be, for instance. York v York, we've got a Roman column just knocking about in the middle of the floor, because in the way these things go, the Minster is built on top of the former Roman Colonia, the middle bit, HQ. So the Minster's built on top of that. And here we have one of the most amazing buildings in the world, which is the chapter house at York Minster. It's a meeting room, really, for the Dean and chapter of York Minster. And they're the people that run the Minster. And it's a big octagonal room, and I think it's 14th century, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but it's amazing, and it's got no central column inside. The roof is all supported in that lead pyramid at the top, and you can do trips up into the mason's loft and then up into the roof space of the chapter house, and you're looking at wood there that's easily 1,000 years old, easily, which is quite humbling and beautiful, and it's a real work of art. Oh, we're getting a nice round trip around the Minster. Over there is what we call the Old Palace, which is where the Dean of York used to live, not the Archbishop, the Dean of York used to live, and the red brick building there behind is now Deanery. So that's 10 kilometres down, first 10k out of 40. I did promise I would read you some excerpts from Don Estelle's Sing Lofty Thoughts of a Gemini. While I was in Southport, I bought a new Rover 3.5. It was a great car, and although it was thirsty, it had about 8.5 years and covered 250,000 miles. One thing I seem to be aware of, more than anything now, is the passage of time. The years seem to be flying by. If you think deeply, you can remember all sorts of things which seem so recent in your mind. Someone will say, saw you at such and such a place a couple of years ago, but really it was 9 years ago. The unawareness of time passing seems to happen more the older you get. It's as if you're on an express train, which of course you are. A time train. Enough of time talk. We finished at Southport and went into the 5th series of It Ain't Our Fault, Mum. Breaking the law, breaking the law. We've gone off route slightly. Well, it takes us to the same place, is my argument, but it allows you to see a little bit more of King's Manor. That little window there was put in, the story goes, for, I'm going to say Henry VIII, as a toilet. That's right, isn't it? It was put in as a toilet, though. It's a toilet, and it's a tiny window for a toilet. Here's the back of the King's Manor. You can hear it's 11 o'clock, we've had half an hour. Which was originally built as the house of the abbots for St Mary's Abbey, which is the big abbey-like ruin that you will see in the park. Actually, when you come into King's Manor these days, you're actually coming in from the back. The front was a courtyard, because of course, very sensibly, it joined up to the abbey. So it's been the abbot's house, meeting place of the council in the north, 16th century. It then became squirrel. It then became it's been lots of things. It's been a school, been the Manor School. It was the blind school as well, school for blind kids and partially sighted, and then the university moved in. and the University will very shortly be moving out, which is, you know, a little bit sad, but that's the way it goes. And it backs onto the Yorkshire Museum. There is the Museum of the Yorkshire Philosophical Society. Now it's philosophical as in the 19th century word meaning of philosophical, so it's science and archaeology and all that. And then York being York, very casually, you've got the multangular tower there, which is, it's got all the layers of the walls. You see, you got the Roman bit at the bottom, you got the brick bit, then you got the medieval bit and the Victorian bit. No, we're going this way, we're to the left. Okay. Which just takes us down Dame Judy I can never say it. Judy Dench walk there. You've got multangular tower. You've also got some Roman coffins inside that. There's exhibits. You've also got a very old Victorian observatory there. So this is a place of science and learning and knowledge, which is what York has always been. It's not, it's historic now, but it's always been new and involved in new things. We've got some nice little flowers, and it's a nice place to relax and chill out, shoot the breeze, but not for us, because we're off down Dame Judy Dench there walk, which will take us down to the river, along, and in the end, after a bit of a tedious housing estate bit, not gonna lie.
Where them men are?
Oh, there's some Roman coffins, look, you can see them, like troughs, there, look. Roman coffins. And one of the few above ground remains of St Leonard's Hospital, which is one of the largest monastic hospitals in the north. There it is. And here we are by the river. A lovely location, a nice little, that's quite a nice restaurant that. It's a star in the city, and it's based in part of the former York Waterworks Company offices and pumping house. There you got the nice 1930s, it's becoming a bit of a building video this, I've decided, as we go along. Got a nice York City Rowing Club building, which always looks nice as 30s, 50s kind of building. I like it, I do. And this is the Riverside walk, the River Ouse. Now here's an interesting fact. Normally, the big river, you know, when rivers meet, the name of the big river carries on. This is an occasion where that's not the case, because the Ouse actually flows into the Ewer. So really, this should be the Ewer. And there are people that think that Ewervik is where the name actually came from. I don't know that for certain, but I do know that the Ouse, which is a tiny river, flows into the Ewer, which is a bigger river. But anyway, it's kind of littered through York, so it's been safely ensconced within these bounds. And the Ouse, being a naughty river, does like to have the odd expedition up, and the height of the river can change greatly. So you can see here, this is kind of a normal, probably slightly low for this time of year level for it, but rest assured, come the winter, in fact, viewers of great York walks past, the one we did in 2019, will remember that just here we were paddling through it. So you can see the scale of the change of height that the Ouse has when it's in flood. Over there is the Hospitium, that timbered building there, and that was built as the kind of social hub for St Mary's Abbey, where you put up your guests and give them hospitality, and it's still used as a nice wedding venue. And along here was where there used to be one of the few swimming baths in York. No longer. This, just in this corner here, was where the baths were. It's the north, you know, it's dreadful, featureless, and nothing going for it. So here we go, out now. We're going to go all the way out to one of the landings, which is where different parts of York would have had a place where they could land their goods. So we're going to go to Rawcliffe Landing, there's Acomb Landing and other places like that as well. But now we're out the city, and you wouldn't know there's a big city only sort of 10 minutes walk away, would you? That's disgraceful. Look at this guy here, he's cheating. He's got a boat with an engine on it, everyone else is rowing. Cheat, sir, cheat! No wonder you're winning. But here we are, you can see the weather's changed now. It's this, and I think the general skeg is that it's going to be like this all day now. So the sap begins, lots of footpaths, lots of housing estates. Although to be honest, it's been so dry lately that there's no difference between the footpath and being on well, no difference between the pavement and being on a footpath, because they're both just like concrete. We haven't had any rain for a couple of weeks and it's been warm, the ground is solid, so it's really quite hard on the knees, but here we go. More of where we are at this point in time. Hot weather, hot pavements, very boring housing estates. It's Eurovision night. My lovely horse, standing in a field. Where are you going with your feathers blowing in the wind? Nice. Probably my favourite bit of the whole affair. So we're doing okay. Time for a bit more the sing lofty thoughts of a Gemini. Halfway. Achievement unlocked. 1:15. That's not too bad. Quite warm. Feet aren't in the worst of condition. Probably not the best. I need to put a bit more tape on my feet. I mean, my feet are just all tape at the minute, just holding it. But time for a bite to eat. Well, hello, faithful viewer. We're at the halfway point now of our 26-mile walk, and it's time again to dip into the book of Don Estelle for some rousing readings. The attitudes and change of the new wave brilliant one-day wonders, the tight-crutched white trousers morons who rule the roost at the moment with no background or history, know as much about entertainment and what the people like as a visiting Martian. Hundreds of entertainers look like they've come from space. They lack warmth and feeling. There are others who sound as if they're swinging from their genitals, if they have any sex gender at all. Anyway, here we are on Bootham Stray, another one of the historic strays. No interesting building to look at here, but I suppose it kind of is, because there's a railway line, but we've not had any trains pass us, which is a bit of a shame. I think we only had that once when a train came past while we were walking. It'd be nice if another one did. Is that how you do it? Is that how you manifest? Who knows? If a train does come, I'll try and catch it. No, well, not catch it, obviously, on film. Can't catch a train. Train! Got into Scarbados. Oh, we're back in Nam. The haunted bamboo field of 2019 has returned. Currently walking with my stick brandished like an M18. Watching out for them. For the choppers. Brilliant. Oh, look at the lambs. Look at the jeeps. The dreadful north, there's nothing to recommend. Nothing. Jesus, come on. I know we're doing a ridiculously long charity walk here, but you know, there's the River Foss, York's little river. That looks a bit low if you ask me. Well, there you go, it's the middle of nowhere. Isn't it nice? Well, here we are at the last of our rest stops. It's time for a little refreshment and another reading from the Book of Don here. In the spring of 1982, Jonathan Miller asked me to be in The Beggar's Opera, which I didn't enjoy as much. But I did enjoy an old stager, Leslie Saroni. He was totally unmanageable but wonderful, so that made it bearable. He was the most incredible man, funny all the time, spoke his mind, didn't care who heard him, caused a bit of a stir at times. The powers that be couldn't control him. He must have been in his late 80s then. This man had been one of the most prolific writers of songs and performers of his day, with funny songs, some rude and raunchy. He was a major star in the 20s, through till the 50s. He told me he performed all over the world, going to Argentina in the 20s, when most people had never heard of the place. I asked him if he still performed. He replied, "I tore the bollocks off them at Lewisham Town Hall last night." Just quickly show you over there is Roundtree, well, Nestle as it is now. Nestle took over Roundtree Macintosh as it was in 1989, but most of the factory's still the same, and a lot of the York products, York invented products, are still made here. So as well as, like I said, Kit Kat Aero, Smarties, Polos.
No Roundtree's fruit pastille. Steady. A lot of flavour in there, must not chew. You chewed!
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yes, she did!
Couldn't help it. All that flavour.
Rantry's fruit pastilles. Irresistible.
Rolos, Toffee Crisp, all those ones are all still made here in York. And okay, we have an emerging situation in that the route as planned has got this weird fancy off bit in it, and we don't know what it's for. I've just twanged my gentleman's area getting over a fence. I am basically leading the company now into battle because we've no idea if we can get through. Oh, here we bloody go. This is it, last 5 miles, walking into the setting sun, and it's going to be in his eyes all the way through. It's roasting. I've seen a lot of sheep, and it's just footpaths and housing estates, and then a university campus from here on in. This, my friends, this is where your money comes in. It really is. This is where you gotta dig in. We're on the last little stretch now. Incredibly sore, incredibly tired, but we've got a quarter of a mile to go. This last 5 miles has just been absolutely punishing. I will use no other word. It's hot, it's hard under your feet, it's relentless. I've got a quarter of a mile, I've got to just keep going and finishing it, because right now I could just drop to the floor. Right, we're here. Last few feet. Look at the duckies, having a lovely time. Oh, it's a gorgeous evening, isn't it? Look at those shadows, aren't they nice? Big tree, and over there is the finish line. Quite honestly, I am knackered. By God, am I having a pint of shandy after this, guys? My word. Oh God, I got a bloody fence to vault as well, which is not what my knees and ankles are really capable of doing. Oh. I ain't got the dexterity for that now. I'm just so stiff. Okay. Yeah. Jesus. And there we go. Headlington Hall, the finish line. Great Yacht 2025. 5 done. 125 miles walked. Next year, well, let's think about that, eh? Right, job done, made it. Final reading from the book of Don Estelle. Gone, but never to be forgotten. An over-sentimentalised phrase used by many as an insincere remark to close a speech. But in my case, and I'm sure as well I can vouch for the people of Rochdale, very sincerely meant. With love, certainly, by yours truly. Thank you.